ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Rajeev Kavallur, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such industry titan on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Rajeev Kavallur. Hello, welcome, Mr. Kavallur. We are glad to have you here today with us on FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you, Ms. Falak. It's a really great opportunity for me to be representing here and then discussing across the whole aspects of my career and my life as such.
Thank you. Thank you so much. He is a professional who excels in production management within technology-driven industries and has over 2.5 decades of experience. Throughout his career, he has held key managerial positions, accentuating his ability to lead teams and drive operational excellence. Currently, he serves as Deputy General Manager and Tractor Assembly Head at Fahr, India Private Limited, a prominent automotive company, where he has successfully implemented standard operating procedures, that is SOPs, for Euro 6 tractors on the assembly line, resulting in improved defect rates and meeting power targets, among some other feats. So, Mr. Kavallur, could you let our viewers know about your career journey so far?
I would say that my 2.5 decades of career was an adventurous one, basically. But then it was not a roller coaster ride, as said, but it was an adventurous one. So I started my career with Mahindra & Mahindra in Kandivali plant, where I joined as a junior engineer in the final assembly line. So that was basically my I should say my formative years of my personality, as well as the kind of knowledge or techie guy which I have become, because those were the days of my formative as a career builder of that, and with M&M being one of the pioneers of many of the first in industry, like time and motion study and all other things. We were actually exposed to one of the most advanced technologies during those periods in the automotive industry. So it was very, very good one as a start of my career. Then you had over a period of time, you had what you call our IT boom was there during 2000s and all, where the 2K and other things were there. So we also got drifted towards that, and I really had some good exposure to IT enabled and IT related industry, where I joined one of the companies. It's called Zycus Infotech, where we were doing the classifications of internet data into UNSPSC based the families. In that, what we used to do was that we were actually being in the domain of mechanical. So I was actually the project leader for them, and I had a team of mechanical engineers who were actually classifying and training the software by the data. We have to do a manual training of this data of the software through actually corrected data, and you have to feed it inside the software that it trains itself. And after that, over a period of time, when you put a raw data, those weightages basically classifies that into the right kind of classes. So it was a challenging one initially, because from my automotive initial background to jumping on to a IT enabled industry and IT software, it was a good one. But I had a good learning over there, and how to move a team, how to be a leader for a team, and how to appreciate the work which they do, and all those trainings were given during. I attained those trainings during those periods. So I really give my credit to those times which I had with an IT enabled industry also. And then from there, it was again a stint of 2 to 3 years. And after that, I went to go into the Middle East, where I joined a superstructure manufacturing company of heavy commercial vehicles. Again, it was an IT related industry only over a period, across the whole spectrum. But then there we were actually handling Schlumberger. It's a conglomerate in oil field industry. So we were actually their Middle Eastern hub for fabrication, as well as fabrication of standalone storage components for oil field equipments, as well as we were actually superstructure manufacturers for heavy commercial vehicles. It's purely like we build all those tankers, the bulkers, and other things. We actually do the build the structural part of it. So across the chassis, as well as heavy commercial vehicle, bare commercial vehicles which the dealers give to the customers. So it was like a middle sort of an activity where we used to serve the market as per their requirement on a superstructure, on a prime mover. We call it prime movers. Those were basically trucks from heavy trucks from Mercedes-Benz's, then the MAN trucks, the Renault trucks, the Iveco trucks. So and Volvo, because these were the trucks which were sold in Middle East during those periods, and we used to build some superstructures for them. Okay, yeah. In terms of my experience, in terms of technical experience, and the aspects where we used to read the technical drawings and make bill of materials, as well as interactions with the clienteles. Because Schlumberger Singapore used to be our clientele for all the interactions which we had for making and the fabrication units for Schlumberger. Every year we used to have their structural requirements, and we used to get the drawings, and from there we used to make the superstructure bill of materials, and then procurement. So coordination with each and every functions of organization. So those are all very good experiences in terms of employee engagements, plus coordination with different departments, like coordination with the engineering department, coordination with procurement departments, and then clientele, as well as international clientele coordinations. So those actually formed me towards a managerial characters which I have now. Actually, I owe them to those formative years, basically. And from there, I shifted my this thing to a product manager in the Middle East and North Africa division. I was actually product manager for Volvo Trucks Corporation, which is centered in Sweden, Gothenburg. So we were I was basically taking care of what is the requirement, like the prime mover I told earlier. The prime mover, what is the kind of requirement the prime mover is having in Middle East? I used to give the specifications to Gothenburg plant, and they used to make those trucks, and then they used to ship to us, and we used to sell in our dealership. So I was with Zubair Corporation. I was in international heavy equipments during those periods, and I was taking care of Volvo trucks as well as Renault trucks as a product manager for them. So that's where I started actually controlling a set of team, and then we were handling. We had 5 engineers with us, and I used to handle the sales part of it, as well as the technical product support, which I used to give to the sales team and the service team. This is what my role was during those periods. So it was like going from actual production unit of a commercial vehicle to getting into a heavy commercial vehicle, and then getting into the product part of it, where I used to coordinate with the parent company or the OEM, and then discuss with them the kind of specifications which are required for a specific market or a specific field. So one of the salient features which or I should say one of the projects which we could do with Volvo Truck Corporation was that we have given around 11 prime movers in a one single order, which was around, I should say, 4 crores at that time in Indian rupees. So we used to provide that for a cement, I should say, aluminum smelting unit, and it was a very challenging one, where Bechtel India was our tender technical coordination, and we used to have interactions of almost like 1.5 years. Continuous technical interactions was there with Bechtel India, and with like around 14 to 15 people coordinating with us on the technical aspects of Volvo trucks, and we used to again coordinate with the Sweden team to give us all the details so that we could share. So that gave a very that was very fantastic experience, and we delivered them all the trucks, 11 trucks, and we had an additional one more unit which was ordered to us, and that was one of the salient features which I had during my period with international heavy equipment. And then that career got on with almost 3 to 4 years. And by 2008, we had the Great Recession, and then we had to what I did over there within Oman, because Sultanate of Oman was my residence at that point of time. I got into the superstructure fabrication again, and then I was as a business head over there for a capital manufacturing company. I was heading the complete division. It was like a greenfield project. I had to set up the plant over there, set up the fabrication unit, get all the employees on board, and then we started doing the what I used to do 4 years before in Dubai. I had to do the same things over here, but with the charge of the plant head or the business head. So it was a good challenge, and from a humble beginning of 36,000 riyals, I should say, riyal was around 120 bucks at that time, Indian rupees. So 36,000 riyals, we could achieve 80,000 riyals within 6 months of incorporation of the unit. So that was also a very good experience for me in terms of client handling, as well as because all the dealers, there were around 14 dealers across Oman. We used to go to them, get the job done, get the orders from them, and then fabricate those things and send it across. So all the coordination functions which were there on a factory, as well as with the client dealers in terms of marketing, was my day-to-day activity during those. It was that kind of an experience for me. And from there, there was a calling from India that I had to come back, because just to give a personal shade of what I am, because I'm a lone child from my parents. They were in Kerala, so I'm a domicile of Kerala, but I got born and brought up in Bhilai, basically, erstwhile Bhilai Steel City. So, so then I got the call from India that I have to come back and look after my parents. So then I shifted my base from Oman back to India, where I joined SEBI Deutz Fahr as a DGM production in tractor manufacturing. This basically, I should say, it was a sort of homecoming. Because Mahindra is also an assembly plant. I had come back as an assembly plant, but as a unit head or the plant head. And then here we have around 120 operators and 5 engineers, as well as 3 managers. We are a team of this much members, and we assemble tractors and we export the tractors to all over the world, including our parent company, which is in Italy. It is SEBI Deutz Fahr. It's an Italian and German conglomerate, and we make tractors which are basically heavily advanced in terms of what we have in India. our operations and other things, we are right now going ahead with a power clutch and power shuttle and all those functions, which is basically you don't have to use a clutch pedal for changing your gears and all. It all happens on the gadgets. So that's the way we go ahead, and we are making those tractors and we are sending it across. Our brands, we have four major brands. We are the holders of Lamborghini brand in tractors. I should say that Lamborghini was basically a tractor manufacturing company initially in Italy. After that, only it became this big in car, passenger car manufacturing, sports car manufacturing, I should say. So we are the holders of Lamborghini tractor brand. Then we make Urliman tractors it's basically a Swiss-based brand, which is under Fahr. Then we have Fahr brand, which is for Germany as well as other part of the world, and we have SAME brand. So we have 4 different brands of tractors which we are manufacturing, and we are around 1,000 crore company in terms of revenue, and it's a good going right now.
That's really great to know.
This is a small stint of what I have in my 26 years of career, which is done across. And then in between that, I had a complete paradigm shift of career. I went into a leather manufacturing company as a general manager, operations there. That was completely different, and it gave a very different perspective towards my viewing of how a production professional should be thinking of himself. Basically, why I said that, because it was a totally new industry, completely new. I didn't know what exactly a leather, how do you tan a leather, how do you make a leather, and how to make a product of that sort. Basically, and we were having a client which is from UK. It is one of the biggest luxury brands in leather goods. It's called Aspinall of London, and we were making them specific small leather good products, which were if you say the in terms of Indian currencies, a small wallet would be costing you around $7,000. That is the way the kind of luxury product which they were giving. It is to the range of Burberry, and LV is a higher range, Louis Vuitton, but we were on a smaller platform in terms of Louis Vuitton. So this is the way, this is the kind of products which we're making, and the kind of coordination which we had to have from UK. There were the market demands which were there, and we used to do the design part of it to some extent, because the concepts were provided by the customers and by our parent client, and we used to make them designs, and then we used to do a production, trial production, and then finally go about making the full production across. That's one of the biggest thing what I did over there. Going there was of course with a leather consultant which he had with me. I was lucky to have him. He was from Turkey. His name was Sinan, and we both actually incorporated what I had learned in automotive industry, like a single piece flow of structure of assembly. I incorporated them into the leather industry. And that pioneering effect was one of the best things in these things. We could improve the productivity, I should say, almost like 20 to 25 times, 25% across the multi model production lines, and we could get very, very good revenues, and that led to get me an award of one of the best performers in under 25 crore revenue in 2018 in the leather industry. And further after that, I again came back to my because of the COVID and other things, we had a problem in luxury garments and luxury leather goods and all. So I had to again come back to automotive industry back, and there I had come back with Sam Doshwar again as a production head. So it's continuing now. That's it.
That's really great. Like, indeed, a long journey and very interesting one indeed. I'm sure, but like over the years, it's just helped you grow more and more.
Absolutely. Those formative years. But I would say that the formative years of Mahindra and those years in with handling our international workforce in Gulf and all have given me a lot of insights on how to deal with our subordinates, as well as how to deal with our peers, as well as higher ups. So that was one of the best learning experiences for me.
So as you shared your interesting career journey with us so far, I want to know, like, what is the biggest motivation in your professional life, and are there any principles that you live by?
The biggest motivation, I would say that the challenges which were put up across the whole working with all the spectrum of automotive industry, plus one of the things which were there, completely shifting out from my experience and then coming into a new field. This kind of exposure which were given to me, that really catapulted me as a person to become a more resolved, as well as more technically profound, or I should say, I should not procrastinate on profound, but I should say that I could get a grip of how should I solve a problem. And those are one of the biggest traits, that I'm a bit okay with problem solving techniques, where when I'm challenged with some serious issues on the assembly line or something like that, I can go there and try to give some sort of solution as soon as possible and try to implement those to get out of that problems. Those were one of the biggest technical things. And motivation, I should say, is that taking on the challenges in front of me, and taking on some new paths. Those were one of the biggest motivations, because shifting down from automotive production line and getting on to I should say a superstructure manufacturing, which is basically handling the steel, welding, and other things. And there it was completely assembly processes, and a lot of technical aspects in terms of tightening and parameters of testing and all. And suddenly getting into CAD drawings, and then getting into I should say the plasma cutting machines, the programming of bending, as well as the lathe, handling of lathe and other things. And then again shifting back to a leather industry and trying to understand what exactly a leather product is. So these kind of challenges actually have been motivating me. And I would say that that as a production engineer, as a technical guys, we should not stop ourselves in trying to a monotonous in our career, and we should try to take challenges and try and see whether we can be good at those challenging fields.
That's there. So I want to know, like, what according to you accounts for a true leadership?
Yeah, it should be like for a true leadership, the kind of qualities I perceive, which should be should be possessed by the managers or leaders of today is one of the salient features should be the communication. You should have a very, very good communication skill in terms of delivering or delegating what is the vision of an organization down to the line, to the subordinates, or ensuring that it goes right up to the employee who's actually doing the operations, and or I should say the bottom line people who are actually operating on those things. So if we are very clear about what we are extracting from those people, or what we are expecting from those people, it will be easy for us to get those things done, and our task would be much more easier. So strong communication skills should be one of the biggest factors of that. And then we should have a good technical aspects, so technical knowledge, so that we are able to solve the issues, or the mostly what we have is in those times we would be having a sort of a technical issue during the operations or processes during our initial stages, and after that it would be more of a strategic issues which we have to clear out with them. So in both the things we should be technically skilled enough to work out our ways on a block how do we jump over the block, or how do we give a solution to that block? That is more important. And then you should be having some sort of management strategies in your thought processes, and to extract what is the best output which you can get from our employees. Those are all the qualities which should be with us.
True indeed. So you've been honored as the Best Exporter Award recipient for the year 2018 at Contemporary Leathers Private Limited. How did you go about achieving it?
As I told you during my this thing, that when I shifted on to leather industry, it was complete paradigm shift for me, and I didn't
Right.
had any I should say any previous experience or any knowledge. Basically, I should say yes, I was not technically fit for the leather industry at that point of time. But that challenge was there, because I wanted that thing to get into the grip of the things and take that challenge to understand what is leather industry, how leather is processed before it comes on as a product on a platform, or how a wallet is made in terms of its processes which is there, or how a lady's clutch wallet is made, which she takes up in her hand and walks up with such pride. So I just really wanted to understand things. So then I took off that challenge in this organization, which is based in Chennai, and one of my the managing director was actually I should say what word I should coin. He was actually good enough to take me into the stride and say, okay, Rajeev, I trust on you that you will be successful in this endeavor, and he took on me, and I started from the base point, how a leather is manufactured. So I studied that point, and it took me around 6 months in my formative in my 2 years of stint over there, to really understand how a leather is built up and made, and then after that, how we have to do the various processes in that leather industry. And once I had the complete knowledge and the technical expertise on it, then I could incorporate all my previous learning experiences in many of the cutting of and the forming processes in my superstructure manufacturing experience, and other production, how to improve the productivity of my automotive experience. Both were actually merged on, and I incorporated them into the industry, wherein I told you earlier that it was around 25% improvement in the productivity of those leather goods assembly lines. And people were also very happy, because they were initially what used to have, it was a batch production. Batch production means that the people used to be producing one part of the whole things, and then afterwards move on to the next part. This really actually had so many wastages in between, and time as well as work wastages were there. Many things were not matching, so those all were rejections across. So these all things I studied across, and because of my automotive industry experience, I could eliminate all of them, and people were also very happy in doing the things. And with that, we really got this 25% improvement in our productivity, which resulted into a scenario that we were making a revenue of 24.38 crore rupees on that one particular year, which was one of the highest in terms of South India. And we got certified. We got the award for the best performing small leather good manufacturing unit. Actually.
So when we talk about ESG, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you offer to the corporate world?
The ESG, the environmental social governance, as well as the corporate governance expertise, which we have earned by being which we have earned from WDC, as well as being our experience in our previous companies and all. What we bring, what we have to actually give, or what we have to impart to the organization is, and for me, ethical and value-driven approach is the key priority. I believe that the business practices should be based on strong ethical principles and that prioritize people, planet, and prosperity. But inclusivity is additional is an additional aspect, and I bring an inclusive mindset. I work with organization and create diverse and inclusive cultures to create a better workplace and benefit employees and communities.
So when we talk about technology, as someone working closely with technology, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0?
Very, very good, query as such, question as such from the side. I would say yes. With the advent of technological advancement which is happening, and at a pace it is happening. It's sometimes it's mind-boggling to see how things are changing within a span of maybe 5 years, and we had an experience of half a decade, and what we have come across maybe like 10 to 15 years. The changes have happened within 5 years, for the last 5 years. It is a complete paradigm shift in terms of how we manage operations in an assembly unit or something. So when I started there in Mahindra, we were the first people to give a motion and time study. First pioneers in implementing Maynard operation sequencing techniques in assembly line operations, where it's basically a motion and time study. We used to how the operator moves and do the assembly operations, and how it is related to time. That is what we were doing during that period in the initial stages. And from there, now the units have become so closely linked that each activity and each machine operations on an assembly line is basically linked together in IoT, and then every operations is actually now get connected, and so we are ensuring the processes which is being incorporated in getting a final product is basically quality checked, and then it is going through that. I would say that the process which were involved in making a product, now it is getting certified along with the product getting assembled. So that's what Internet of Things have brought in, as well as the Web 3, where you can connect even with the clients, the service industry, the manufacturing, the supply chain. All of them are now coming into one hub, and the world has really gone very, very short now, because with ERPs, enterprise resource plannings, and with blockchain technology coming inside, where what basically a blockchain does is that the authority which was initially there with one hand, we used to sign and everything, the trust has been now decentralized by passing on the trust to everybody. I should say that the authority is now delegated along with trust to right up to the end level, so that the trust factor brings in the authority of the final signatory, but the trust factor is there, where at the end of the tree stage also, at the root stage also, and at the branch stage also, we can easily get that trust and authority transferred. In blockchain technology, basically the authority has been decentralized right up to the branch stage, and in the branch stage also, the decentralization is done in terms of the trust transfer. You can get a job of signing a PO or signing a DC note, like a delivery note signed at the end of the branch, rather than going up to the head and of the finance divisions. These things can be incorporated by having a blockchain technology, blockchain ERP system in place. These all technological advances have really brought brought about a paradigm shift in the way we are looking into the operations of an automotive industry, not only the automotive industry, in any industry as such. So these have really brought in a desirable change. But at the same time, what has happened here is that automating so many functions, and now with the advent of AI and all other things, what we have to think is that being India a labor-intensive country, where we have most of the people are employed, many people are employed, and then they get their things. We have to see how we can sustain our economic strength along with incorporating all those things. Yeah, it's good for for countries and advanced countries where the people are not so much dense population is not there where they can automate many processes. But here we have to actually look into, and as leaders, we really look into what kind of depth we should give to all these automations which is coming up, all the waves which is coming up.
So as you know, we are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. What are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Hemal Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
I'm really stoked by them, the way they have taken up these initiatives. And the way they are building up, when I saw that in my LinkedIn profiles, when I was looking into it, I got this WDC's flyers coming to me and saying that yes, you have the potential. I really got a real good chance, because and as I said, I saw a really good opportunity to get connected with so many industry stalwarts and understand the kind of sharing which they give, and the kind of knowledge which Mr. Zishan imparts, Mr. Keval Mehta imparts to us, and during their classes, during their sessions, and the kind of the growth prospect which they are putting forward in front of us, and being the leaders and being visionary people across, how we can mold ourselves as well as our subordinates into these kind of these things is really like mind-boggling. I should say it's really mind-boggling, and I'd really appreciate and thank Mr. Zishan for giving us this opportunity, and being into a WDC as a member. I'm really it's like a bombardment of many aspects of financial, the boardroom decision making processes, and then ESG inputs. So these things really build us as leaders, and really makes our foundations as well as our learning processes so easy that we are better managers or better persons as such. So thanks a lot. Kudos to the team.
These were really kind words by you, and it was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Rajeev Kavallur. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. It was great having you here today with us on FaceTime with Leaders, and I'm sure that all your career journey and every principles and everything that you shared with us, I'm sure that it's, everyone watching this is going to help them grow in their careers too.